What up, YouTube? So, OZ9c is back. 2,500 yard, 2,500 yard, 2,500 rounds later. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, before we even talk about it, I just wanted to give you guys a look. Like this thing. Everything is just crispy, crispy. And then how low the optic sits, so you co-witness with the, oh man. How this just, everything is just right. So 2,500 rounds plus later, let's talk about the performance of this thing. And is it worth it? Is the hype real? So I'm not gonna let y'all make y'all wait to the end of the video. Yes, it is worth it. Yes, the hype is real. Some people have had issues with theirs in the past years ago, but as of recent, I haven't seen much of that. These things are amazing. This is an amazing gun. Even in its stock configuration, shoots extremely flat, better than a Glock. The internals were higher quality. It's a modular, and we'll talk about that in a second. And to me, it is worth it. So before we talk about the shooting, though, let's talk about what's been done to my OZ9c. So everything is pretty much stock except for a couple things. I swapped out a few little things on the upper for Glock OEM Gen 3 parts. And then obviously the barrel has been swapped out because I'm running the Radian Ramjet Afterburner. And what else? And then the spring and the guide rod. So currently running a DPM Recoil Reduction system. And by the way, these DPM guys, great guys. So great customer service. I order these all the time now, but like the first time I ordered one of these, I ordered it like on a Wednesday, and then on Friday it was in my hands. Insane. And this shit is coming from Greece. So like that's why I can't accept the slack that y'all accept from certain gun companies that get stuff done in the United States. Like if this was being sold by the average gun company in the US, it would take 6 weeks to get to me. Like no bullshit. So great guys. I would definitely buy more of their stuff. And yeah, once I drink the Kool-Aid, I'm all in. I've been buying a ton of their shit. Great guys. Now, when you first get this, is the soft version, by the way. When you first get this, it doesn't tell you which spring is which. So I reached out to them and I was like, hey, or do you guys already have a legend or something that lets you know which is which, so I don't have to guess and I could just mark it, and then when I go to the range I know exactly which one is which when I'm doing my testing and trying to find the one that works the best for me. And they were like, no, not really, but these are the measurements. You just have to measure it and you'll be able to figure out which one is which. So they were able to to walk me through measuring the coils. Whipping out one of these bad boys. I had to whip out one of the calipers out, and by the way, I got this from Tractor Supply. It's like 20-30 bucks. Whipped out the caliper, and they were able to help me measure and figure out which one is which. So I don't make any recommendations when it comes to the spring. I think the springs, I feel as though that it's person specific. So what I may deem the perfect spring for me may not be the perfect spring for you. So this was like 80-90 bucks with shipping and everything. It was like $100. Worth every penny. So when you combine the DPM recoil reduction system with the Radian Afterburner, the way this thing runs, it's just, there's no other polymer or metal frame gun that isn't a 2011 that outshoots this gun right here. The only gun that may come close or maybe may outshoot it a little bit is my SBO1, but even my SBO1 has gotten a ton of work done. I'm talking about a ton of work done. Port job, CGW, ton of CGW stuff, ton of polishing, ton of stuff. It got optic cut. A lot of money was put into that gun. So it's one of my best shooting guns, and because I've invested a lot of money into it. So but this thing here, the SBO1 can't do what this can do, which is the modularity of it. So, and I think I spoke about this last time I spoke about my OZ9c, but we'll briefly talk about it because I didn't bring out my frames. So right now I've already taken out the pins. If you want to switch out the frame, it's held together by a pin here that I've already taken out for the sake of time, and then a pin down here that I've already taken out for the sake of time. Yeah, they're right here. So that's how you take down the gun and take down the frame. So if I wanted to go to FDE frame or maybe a gray frame, this is how you get done. Again, clear. I'm gonna take the gun down, and by the way, this is the DPM guy rod and spring, the recoil reduction system. I mean, I don't know what magic or what sorcery these guys are doing with these things, but it works. Like, there's very few things that you can buy for a gun and you can spend money and be like, yeah, that was worth every penny. And these recoil reduction systems is one of them. But yeah, so taking down this part, and then take down the light, take down the magwell, and then you can just pop the chassis right out. So this is what's serialized. This is just a frame. You can buy these online. These are 62 bucks. And we'll talk about these frames too in a little bit, because it's one of the few, if not the only downside or the only negative thing I have to say is about these frames. But let's say I wanted to go back to my X frame. As a matter of fact, let's go Glock 19 size, EDC, put the chassis back on. Let's say you wanted to put the magwell back on as well. Pop it back on. I don't know why it's so. It's usually easy to do, but of course when I'm on camera, it's when it wants to act up. There it goes. So it's back on. And instead of an X300, let's do, what is this? 7A. Added the 7A. Now let's put the slide back on. Bam. 19 size. Now, what I love again about the Zev is I can swap out frames for the grip size, and I can maintain my performance with the upper, which has pretty much everything that allows it to perform the way it does. And yeah, I don't have to sacrifice performance for grip size or different color frames just because I wanted to do a superficial change like the grip color. So I can keep my performance, and that is worth its weight in gold, in my opinion. So you can essentially have, if I were to bring out, so this is my tier 1 concealed holster with the X300, and then this is a T-Rex arms 7A holster for Glocks. So full FDE, and these T-Rex holsters are modular as well, so I can swap this out for extra mag carrier if I wanted to, but I've been running it like this a lot lately. Kind of dig it. It's very easy to conceal. Or I could go back to the big boy, and this is just a wedge, and it'd be just fine. And essentially I have a Glock 45, a Glock 19, I can have a Glock 17, in all these configurations in one gun and keep the performance. Because if I had a Glock 19 and I had a Glock 45 and I wanted to get a Radian for the 19, I would have to get a Radian for the 19, $400 right there. Would then have to get a Radian for the 45, another $400 right there. Then I would want to swap out the springs for DPM springs. That's another $100 per gun. That's $200 right there. So this stuff adds up. You can keep the performance in one platform and have the configuration of multiple guns. I can swap out the RMR and throw on a, let's see, which I can throw on a, this is the red one. I can throw on a 508T on here if I wanted to change out the look. I can throw on that 7A, and I essentially have like 4 or 5 different guns here. And that is what you're paying for, in my opinion, on top of the performance, on top of the higher quality parts, on top of the well thought out parts of the gun, like the mag release, extended mag release, like the receding slide lock release. I don't know why I had a brain fart there, but the slide release, the receding extended slide release, because when it's being used, it protrudes out, and then when it's not being used, it's super flat. Great design. Everything is well thought out in this. The optic cut sits super low. You can co-witness with the backup irons. You know, it's a great platform. Shoots flat. Like I said, no other gun except for my SPO1 shoots as well as this. And I mean, it can be a duty gun, it can be your bedside gun, it can be a truck gun, it can be a backpack gun. Just swapping out the frames. Now, speaking of the frames, I told you we'd come back to that. If Zev is gonna sell me on modularity, which they have, and they've done a great job doing it, because no other gun that's modular is as good as this, if we're talking reliability as well, to all my SIG fanboys. Which, by the way, I love SIG. I love my P320. I love how modular it is. I love swapping out and this, that, and the third. But I still have questions and still have this tickle in the back of my throat when it comes to SIG. And I've recently had issues with my 365s. Recently had an issue with the 365 Legion. Quality issues, the finish, rust. I'm just beefing with SIG right now, and they're not getting any more of my money for the foreseeable future. So no other gun that's modular is doing what Zev is doing right now. Again, about the frames though, if you're gonna sell me on modularity, you can't just have 3 colors. It can't just be black, it can't just be gray, and it can't just be FDE. You have to throw in some olive green, you gotta throw in maybe a lighter desert tan, maybe do different colors, different styles, maybe do different laser stippling. These are $62. You're telling me that you can hire a design person on your team to design more of these and still have the same reliability that I'm accustomed to. Yes, they came out with a metal frame recently, and they're working with Icarus, but that frame is $400, which I could get past that, but they're sold out. I can't get my hands on them. They're like, I mean, shoot, I can probably get my hands on a fucking RPG before I can get my hands on one of those Zev metal frames. So availability of these frames is paramount. You have to have more of these, more colors. I wanted to order a X frame FDE version, and the lead time was increased because I guess stock was low, or maybe people order a lot of them, but that just can't happen in my opinion, because if you're trying to keep people on your platform and you're preaching modularity and you're preaching versatility, you have to have more accessories. I would like to see different type of mag wells. I want to see different mag extensions, maybe some back plates. I want to see more to keep me in. I'm going to stay on the platform, but I just want some more flavor, some more pizzazz, and none of these things affect reliability in my opinion. So that's my only thing. Maybe some camo frames, some Cerakoted camo. I don't know. Kind of like the Saber. And speaking of the Saber, buddy of mine got the Saber and we're messing with it, and tons of issues. Overspray. I don't know, tons of issues. And I'm not gonna sit here and bash PSA, but for $700, you're telling me I have to deal with issues and failure to feeds and failure to extracts and stovepipes, and for $700? If I'm paying $700, then why, and I'm having issues, then why not just get a 19X? I don't understand it. Like, people will spend $700 on a PSA and defend a unfinished product, and then sit here and say, oh, this isn't worth what it's worth, when it does what it does. So I'm just confused. So, but lately we've had some reliability issues when it comes to the industry. So, which is why I'm not buying any new guns. Right now, I'm working on two 19Xs, a P07, a 2.0, a P01, a SPO1, doing some stuff with a couple of my MC9s and my SC, my TP9 SC. And then probably in the end of the summer or the fall, going to be doing something with PX4 and then a SIG 226. And the reason I'm doing the 226 is because that's the only gun from SIG that I've just never had any issues with, whether it's finish, whether it's just never had any issues. So I love that 226. So I just want to do something cool with it, maximize the performance, which is what I've been on lately. It's just going back to reliable platforms and maximizing their performance, not buying any new guns, and again, maximizing performance. Now, somebody can say, again, get you a 19, get you a 45, but again, this is it. And it's worth every penny, and it may save you some money in the long run, because like I said, if you didn't have a 17, you didn't have a 19, you didn't have a 45, you could technically, depending on the slide that you get, have all those things in one gun, get different frames, and still get all the pluses that you get from having an OZ9. So 2,500 plus rounds later, is it worth it? Yes. No recoil, basically. Super fast shooting. Everything is where it's supposed to be. High grip on the gun. No slide bite. All the controls are well thought out. It's a premium gun. I love it. And you guys will watch my videos. I usually don't recommend people to get anything, but if you have the extra cheese or if you want to save up, this is it. This is worth it. And then Zev as well is easy to work with, at least my experience. Reach out to them if you have any issues. They reach right back out, or if you have to send your gun in, they take care of it right away. So customer service is there as well. And then you have the aftermarket support of Glock to support the platform as well. So definitely love this thing. And like I said, you can have 2 holsters, 3 or 4 frames. You swap out the spring, the guy rod and spring. You add a radian, and this thing is the perfect do-it-all pistol, because it can do it all, keep its performance, and I stand on that. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments section. If you have a Zev, let me know your experience. If you want to get a Zev but you're on the fence, ask any question you want. I'll try to put some shooting footage at the range as shorts, so you guys can check out what I mean by no recoil. But this thing is awesome. Lately, the gun that gets shot the most for me is the gun that I ADC. So, and lately when I go to the range and I want to shoot something that's fun. I want to shoot something that has no recoil. I want to shoot something that is a pleasure to shoot. And if it's my ADC gun, then it's perfect. It's perfect for me. So I can go to the gun range today and just take my 19 framed size here, have a great time. I can go tomorrow and then put on my X frame and have a great time and have a different feel, still great performance, and again, dope platform. So worth every penny. Would recommend, would buy again. I'm actually looking to get the hypercomp version, so once I get my hands on one of those, I'll do a review for you guys, let you know how it compares to this one. And yeah, and if I get my hands on one of the metal frames, I'll try to do a review as well. But like I said, hard to get, hard to find one of those. So if you guys have a link or somewhere that has them in stock, let me know. Try to get my hands on one of them. But appreciate you watching till the end. Do something nice today. Enjoy the rest of you guys' day. Recycle. And see you guys in the next one. Deuces.